Hello there. You're watching and listening to another Scoutcast from www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
And my name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
My name's Az.
Good evening. Andy, got a bit of a cold there. Do I detect just slightly?
Just a little bit. I've been on the strepsils all day. Hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. I will get better, but it's not great.
I might have to just turn you up a little bit. Might need the interpreter for Andy tonight. We'll see how we get on. Good evening, Jonty. How do I find you? You all right? All good?
Yeah, good. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'm without cold now, which is nice.
There's always one of us going down with it.
Yeah, and fighting fit, ready for another game week.
Yes, and as we've got 2 game weeks to go over, although I really want to forget the last one as quickly as possible. But a couple of game weeks to summarise. How are you getting on? Are you all right? How was your game week?
I feel good. I mean, my game week was average. They all have been for the last couple of weeks, but feeling good.
Yes, a lot of average going on around here. I'm trying to break through that, but not succeeding. I'm stuck in a rut. More on that in a moment. We'll start with Jonty, though. What are we going to discuss tonight? Sanchez again for 3rd week running. There's good reason, though, isn't there?
Well, yeah. I mean, the twists and turns of the Sanchez plot carry on, and now it's getting silly. Now his lack of returns is getting stupid. So we need to discuss that because he's a lot of money. And there's better players out there. But we're also going to talk about Kane. He's back. And a lot of people are getting him in. And also we want to talk about some cheaper players down at Southampton and Crystal Palace. And they're very popular at the moment. And they've got double game weeks coming up. So that's good.
Yes, double game weeks. You've mentioned them a few times. I think there's going to be a lot of chatter about that. I'm expecting those to be announced this week. Probably by the time you listen to the Scoutcast, if you listen on Thursday, we'll already know those. But we'll discuss those in length for next week and many weeks after, I think, until finally our chips are played and it's all over. We've got rough and smooth, haven't we? And lots of community questions. So let's start off with our game weeks, though. Andy, you came top of the part. A 2 game week aggregate, 140 points. Let's just talk about last time out there. Game week 32, 91 points. Congrats. What was behind that?
I kept some, unlike some people on the Scoutcast, so that was nice. 19-point haul there. Captain Ali, pretty much everyone came in. I had Ibra, got 12 points against Sunderland. Lukaku delivering at home again. Alonso, someone who I keep considering about getting rid, he just does enough to stay on my team. Obviously, he scored, and Tom Heaton doing what he's been doing all season and getting points in. And I played Josh King as well against Chelsea. They've been leaking goals recently. No clean sheets in like 8 or 9 games, I think it is now. Pretty much everyone delivered. Captain Ali, that was 8 points. I was going into the Monday Night Football 1 in 100. All I needed from Sanchez was 11 points, and failed. But 91, can't complain about that.
11 points from Sanchez these days is a big ask, as we'll touch on later on. So a fantastic game week. So a bit of a jump in rank, was it, Andy?
Yeah, I went from 70k to 42k, so bit of a push there. Hopefully that can be, over the next few weeks, push a bit more, get into the top 10k, hopefully by the end of the season. Should be good.
No, that's well done. Yeah, we'll come to Az next. I don't want to end on Jonty. As your game week, you described it as average, top of the show. I guess it put it what it was it?
Yeah, it's just my players have done well, but then I haven't had Heaton and King, and they're really highly owned, and they've all seemed to do well as well. So it's just, my play, like Maguire scored a couple of weeks ago. I was really happy with that. I've had points from unlikely sources, but then all the popular picks have done well as well. So I just can't make any ground. Just stuck around 70k. Can't rise, not falling.
Yeah, it was a funny game week because everyone came in. So I mean, there was good scores everywhere, lots of big scores, and I think it was 8 of the 10 captain picks delivered an assist at least. The only 2 that didn't were Kane and Sanchez, 2 players we're going to talk about later in the show. So there were big scores all round. So it was difficult to make up any ground, really. Jonty, how did you get on?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much same as Az, really. I mean, I got a lot of my players did well, but not. I didn't get. I've never had Son in my side, so I didn't get a 19-point player. Big disappointment really is Sanchez, who we're going to talk about later, really. But I'm basically going for a mini league tactic at the moment. So this is what my transfers are really based around that. I'm getting some differentials and covering some of their best players. And the first game week, I took a punt on Sanchez to captain because he was very low owned within my league, and that proved that ended up with losing me about 10, 15 points. And then the second week, I went for Ali, who once again, I know amongst the fantasy football scout community, Ali captain was absolutely fine. But amongst my mini league, I knew a lot of them would be going for the old favourites. They'd be going for Lukaku, Ibrahimovic and Costa. So I made ground on the Costas, But the Ibrahimovic and Lukaku captainers, I do own Lukaku, so it was a bit limited there. But those that captain Ibrahimovic once again. So those 2 game weeks really for me, from a mini league perspective, I lost about 20 points, and I'd made about 80 to 90 points in the previous 8 or 9 game weeks. So I was on a roll, and then it just kind of stalled a bit. So
this is a mini league you've won every season for the last 25 years.
Yeah, for about 25 years. And there's 2 of them. It's myself won one, and then another friend of mine did. And they're got identical kind of rule sets as well. So the top 3 get prizes, and I've won both every year. I'm basically looking at third. I want to get third. I think first in one of them is possible. First in the other, I'm going to just call a halt on that dream.
It's a bit like Arsenal in the top 4. It's unheard of.
I know, but third I can go for. So this is what I'm looking at really. And by playing this way I'm doing, it's risk or reward really. So, I have to play it like that. I have to go for differentials there. I have to cover their best players. Sometimes it's worked out. Vardy, for example, getting Vardy in was great. None of them got Vardy in. I got all those lovely Vardy points. It's gone now. But then, not captaining basically the standard ones, Ibrahimovic and Lukaku. Yeah, you're going to fall. You've got to take that risk.
That's what did the damage for a lot of people this week, isn't it? I mean, I got there. I gambled on Eriksen captain. I just thought, well, I've got to try some things new. I thought to myself, I've got all the key players covered. I've got Lukaku. The only player I didn't have was Ibrahimovic and Costa, I guess. I wasn't scared of Costa. Ibra was, but I was hoping he wouldn't come in. But he did, and he got his best score since game week 18. 12 points. Doesn't sound like a huge haul, but it's his best score for 12 game weeks or 13 game weeks. So that was a big return for him. And that hurt me a lot. And Eriksen's assist, I thought, that's not right. I mean, I could have done a lot better out of that game. At least Spurs and Watford stuck to the script and they delivered. But obviously the big story for my game because I got rid of Son. And the logic behind it was that on Thursday night I was going to do Yoshida in for Davis, Sigurdsson out for Son, and have Ali, Son and Eriksen. And then Friday, obviously the news broke about Kane being fit and being available for selection. I thought to myself, okay, rather than do that, I'm going to want Kane game week 33. So what I've got to do is I can get Ali in for Son because I'm really scared about Ali's returns, whereas Son's going to move out to left midfield with Kane playing. And I thought Janssen might start as well. So I thought, what damage can he do from left midfield? I think that'd be all right. Ali's going to outscore him, and I'll get rid of Davis, and then that way, game week 33, I can just get Kane in without the hit. That was the logic, and it massively backfired. So them's the breaks. I had a big differential in my team in Son, had him for 3 weeks, and the week that he delivered the 19 points, I got rid. So big regret. That goes down next to Sanchez's 23 points at West Ham as a massive fail in my season. And otherwise, lucky game weeks. I got King off the bench. More bench luck, Jonty.
Yeah, I know. I've always said, I know Granville has a problem with your bench luck, but I never do. I always think it's because you've got a good squad. That's what bench points are all about. You're getting.
Don't talk to me about benches this week.
Yeah, this is something I've put in the notes, and you've got to ask Az about.
Well, what happened, Az? What was going on the bench? How did you get?
So no, I mean this is it. A couple of weeks ago, if you remember, Valencia didn't start against Everton, and I had Williams first sub. And I checked the match before.
Yes.
I thought, Williams will be coming in. Oh, that's all right. Check the score again. 90 minutes. Everton are winning 1-0. He's got an assist, clean sheet, 2 bonus. I'm like, this is amazing. No one's got him. He's really, he's a real differential. Phone goes off again. Check it. 94 minutes. Red card. Ibrahimovic has scored a penalty. One of the most highly owned players in the game scores a penalty, and my defender. I mean, that's a granny's miffed. That's
it is.
That's for you, Granville, in your absence, because. That is savage.
That'll be enough for Granville to walk out of the game for that. That kind of luck.
I was gutted.
And I got a feel for Thomas Magic, who is my great rival at the top of the Moderators League. He also had a fantastic first sub, Wilfried Zaha, but because Llorente came on and Andy Carroll didn't, he didn't get Zaha's points, but I got King's, and that is, my friend, luck. I can't deny it, but that's the way it goes. King's been a lucky charm for me, and it was hard because I was watching Andy Carroll on the bench with about 5 minutes to go, thinking if Swansea equalise, Carroll's going to come on for 30 seconds as West Ham get desperate for a winner. He clearly wasn't fit enough to come on. I don't know why. I mean, they put him on the bench, I presume, for an emergency in case they were 1-0 down or needed a goal late on, and luckily, he wasn't pressed into service. I was a little bit worried he was going to come on to help defend set pieces at one point, but no. And then King delivered a very fortunate deflected goal. So he's been good for me, and he saved my game week in a game week where Yeah, for 24 hours, missing out on Son's points, it was hard to take, but I've only got myself to blame. And now I've got to get Kane because it's part of the plan. So when we get to talk about that, there'll be no option for me. Okay, Jonty, rough for the smooth. Have we got any similar Son?
They are, yes, very similar tales, really. All about bench points or lack of them. So going home, fielded Valencia, got Yoshida's points off the bench. That's nice. Cheltenhamshire, la. Great name. You got King in for Carroll, like yourself. You got 88 points that week.
Nice return.
Ragonian, I like this one. He sold Sigurdsson and Lanzini, which is a real risk because there was goals in that.
He was
game.
in the picks, Lanzini, wasn't he?
Yeah, both. I mean, and Sigurdsson. Basically, we thought there'd be goals there and they'd be involved. They weren't. And he swapped them for Zaha and Hazard. So very risky move, but it paid off. So really good. Some roughs here though. Sky Lords, he got it's rough with the smooth. He got Aguero and Zaha in for Costa and Sigurdsson. That's good, but he benched Zaha. So he got Zaha in as a bit of a make weight, and he benched Zaha for Llorente.
Played Llorente. You can see that. Though.
You can see why. I possibly would have done the same. Super Saints benched Zaha as well. And say, I mean, this is horrible having to look at those points, but at least they've got Zaha. I think that's better than not owning him. And then distinctly average bench King, and he didn't get to see those points in his team.
Yeah, they're funny players. When you get Zaha and King, they're kind of at that price, and price does play a factor when you're looking at who you're going to bench. You do think, 5'7" or 5'8" in Zaha's case, I can afford to bench them, and that comes into it. It shouldn't really, but it does play a factor.
It's the fixture as well. You think Arsenal, they're a good side, and Palace, they can't score too many. I mean, you can see the logic there. I mean, I can definitely see with the West Ham Swansea game, both of them were the leakiest teams going into that. I think they've shipped 22 goals between them in the preceding 4 weeks. It was an absolute horror show, really, and it didn't go that way at all. So yeah, it
was so tense. No one wanted to give. Everyone was scared of losing that game.
It was a fine. That was a relegation game week 38 match. Absolutely petrified because they know whoever's going to win it has got a really strong chance of staying up.
No, absolutely. I don't know what's going on with Valencia, but I mean, there's a conspiracy going on at the moment with the heavy hitter defenders. Walker getting rotated, Valencia getting rested. Alonso, thank God, has found a new way of scoring. I think
with Marino, I don't know what. There's something about there's some kind of fatigue or something. They obviously do tests on players. They're not fools, and they feel there's fatigue level. They think he's going to be all right for the Europa League. There doesn't seem to be an injury as such. But he seems to be doing the rotation in lumps. Like, I'm going to rest Valencia flat out for a whole week, that kind of thing, which is great. I mean, I actually got Valencia in because I was looking at my defence. I had so many injury risks. I got Valencia in because I thought he was a certain starter for Sunderland. And looking at and I thought it was a guaranteed clean sheet, which indeed it was because Sunderland was so poor in attack. But I thought this is a no-brainer. This is great. He's had his rest. He'll play. I mean, I can only hope now that he's had his rest and he's going to get a bit of a run. But
I thought Mourinho did say it was a knock, though, that he should be ready for the Europa League.
Yeah, he said the way he said he was talking about injuries, and then he went on to say Valencia should recover. So he kind of insinuated there was a problem there, and he also said, "Look, nobody who's not here today is being rested." So he kind of in a roundabout way said there was an issue.
It might be a fatigue issue there. It might be.
Yeah, but whatever it is, I mean, the issue now, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Andy. Is Valencia locked in for the rest of the season, or do you think he's going to be subject to rest all the way through?
Well, I suppose it depends. We don't know the exact reason why he was out. If it was a rest, then I feel pretty good about that. Even if it was a knock, he's still missed 2 games now. So if it's only a minor knock, maybe this is his rest he's now had from a fatigue point of view. So I'm quite happy, but there's always going to be a risk. That Burnley game, you think we can keep a clean sheet with or without Valencia. So I don't think we need him. But I'm happy enough to have him. I think it's probably come at a good time for those of us that want to play him in Gameweek 34. But nothing's a certainty with the amount of games we've got. Have to see what happens in the Europa League as well.
I mean, if he plays in the Europa League, will he play against Chelsea? I guess he will.
I think so. Yeah, I think Burnley's the one we got to watch out for.
The problem is you want their replacement to come in and do really badly. Like same with Walker and Trippier. You want them to come in and fall over and give away a goal or score an own goal or something. The trouble is Trippier and Darwin are looking quite good in the games they've played. So he's got the option to rest them again. Both of them have. So
yeah, I mean, Walker probably won't play the Palace game after the Cup semi-final. That's midweek in 34, and I think Trippier is going to probably get that one. So, I mean, that's going to be a constant worry for a lot of people who own Walker, and he's massively owned. So, it's strange that just as Alonso was going out of form in terms of clean sheets, those two don't suddenly become a risk. Coleman's injured, of course. Suddenly, our defences are just stripped of all these key players. But Alonso got the goal, so he's got free kicks. At last, David Luiz has just given up the ghost on those. I'll let Alonso take them, and finally we get a goal out of it.
Great free kick as well.
It was, yeah. We might get some more out of it. Okay, let's look at Alexis Sanchez because this is a massive discussion. We talked about him for a couple of weeks, but it just keeps going on and on.
Yeah.
And it's a big worry, isn't it, Jonty?
It is, and one of the key themes that's emerging is not just for those that have Sanchez or don't have Sanchez about getting in, because he's so expensive. Getting him in basically means you can't have three heavy hitters. And that means you can't have three heavy hitters when you've got Lukaku on form. You've got Kane coming back with great fixtures, and he had great form before. And Ibrahimovic back in form and great fixtures, double game week. So you kind of want all of those three. You can't if you've got Sanchez. So if you want to keep or get Sanchez.
And Aguero.
And then there's Aguero as well to factor into that as well. So you've got these four premium strikers. So people are thinking, I can't do 3-5-2 anymore. We've got to have three up top, but you can't do it with Sanchez. So Sanchez is a real problem at the moment. So lots of people asking questions. Wanyama Lord asked, does the Sanchez slump now change things and pave the way to three big hitters up top, just as we were saying? And Cheltenhamshire Lala, that name again, which big three are calling for our attention? So we've already mentioned four. So already there's no template there. And Philman, he hits the nail on the head here. Game week 34. It's basically Lukaku v Sanchez. So if you're going for Kane and you're going for Ibrahimovic, which you ought to be for a double game week, considering the form he's in, then one of Lukaku or Sanchez has to go. And so you're looking at Lukaku away. I think he's away to West Ham then. And then you're looking at Sanchez with awful form on the left wing. So that's what many people are facing. And then Jack the Cat, he just sums it up about Arsenal. He says Arsenal potentially having double game weeks 37 and another game week possibly 35. Who do you want from them? And he himself is struggling to think of anyone, and that includes Sanchez. And I happen to agree. I cannot think of a single Arsenal player I want, and I already own one, Sanchez.
Okay, well, I'll put it to you that how long can this continue? Because you look at it and go, the 5 games that Welbeck started up front, Sanchez has got you a goal and an assist. And if you Arsene Wenger, you're looking, and they've scored 5 goals, I think, in those, or 6 goals in those 5 games. Not good enough for a team challenging for top 4. Surely he can see it, can't he?
Yeah, I mean, anyone can. You or I can. Any other manager, any man on the street, any dog, even a Middlesbrough player could see this. Could see that they've got
that's it again with the Middlesbrough thing.
They've absolutely
inside tourist ball to be on the phone.
They've absolutely got an amazing world-class forward who succeeded in central role. Yet he thinks Danny Welbeck is better.
But don't you feel the more people are pushing him, the more he just wants to push back?
I mean,
like he's doing
it's almost like he wants to go out in style. You know what he's like? To be topical, he's like that guy on the United Airlines flight. Basically, he's
getting dragged out there.
Yeah, they're gonna, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not going." No, and he just wouldn't. He would be dragged out, kicking and screaming, going, "Danny Welbeck's brilliant striker. Sanchez is excellent on the wing."
I think there's something at play though here. Do we think there might be something with Sanchez and the rest of the team? As in, is he doing it almost to send a message to Sanchez and say, "You're not the big man. You're going to play left wing." And we've got other players who can play the forward role and get us goals.
Well,
because that's the only explanation I can have.
Well, for
persevering with a Welbeck for 5 matches.
For fantasy managers, particularly ones like me who like kind of certainty like Lukaku. Lukaku will score well at home against poorer teams. He won't do so well away against better teams. You just know that. I like that. You're talking about has Wenger got a problem with Sanchez? Does he doesn't like his dogs or something? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, already I just think, oh my God, I just don't want to go anywhere near that. It's like seeing a fight at a party. It's like, whoa, I'm not going anywhere near that one. And yeah.
I don't know. I think Andy likes a good fight at a party. Andy, what are you going near? I mean, do you not think though? It's only got, if we see Wenger, if you sell Sanchez and then Wenger plays Sanchez up front against Bauer, you're going to regret it straight away, aren't you?
Yeah, but I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, how can he not see that And what annoys me more, I think, is that Welbeck has played on that left before and done okay. It's not like Welbeck has to absolutely play up front to do well. He's not doing well. It's kind of winding me up watching Arsenal. I'm like frustrated to watch because they should be better than they are. They were just awful last night. Will he put him up front? I don't know. Do I have the balls to risk that he won't? Probably not. Because if he's up front against Middlesbrough, then I'm worried not owning him straight away.
Exactly.
I think he'll do well. But then should we be playing this game with fear? I don't know. That's probably part of my problem for a lot of it. Is I don't like getting rid of these players. Because for me, for example, like talking about three big hitters up front, I can do Sanchez and Crouch to Zaha and Kane. So I still got that big hitter. Will Kane outscore Sanchez against a Borough team that don't concede many goals? Probably. I've got Zaha for the double game week. But if Sanchez goes mad against Middlesbrough, I want him back in. But I've got a wild card, so maybe it's worth the risk. That's what's in the back of my mind.
The other issue is, if you sell Sanchez and he gets a double game week 35 or 36, which is going to happen, you have got triple captainships going on Sanchez, and you won't have Sanchez at all.
But I've got a wild card, so I've got a wild card though. As soon as double game week's announced, I can wild card him back in if I need to.
You might be getting rid of him for 1 week, because if Arsenal's double drops in 35, you're getting him out for 33 and 34, I guess, and then getting him straight back in again for 35 when his double is. Basically, is that what you're going to?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I won't go out, no matter how badly form is in, where he's still playing on left. I won't go into the double game week without Sanchez.
Right. Okay.
No way. That's just too risky. Like I say, that people have got kind of two options with their triple capitalize. If their bench reaches in 37, it's basically Sanchez or Ibra in 34, and Sanchez would be the one. Usually it'd be Sanchez. So yeah, I'll have him in. I'll have him captain probably.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, do you not feel the same that if we get rid, we're going to have to get him back for 35 or 36, depending on when that double game week is, because so many people will be triple captaining him.
Yeah, and it's harder for me because I don't have a wild card, so I really want to get rid of him, but I do kind of want him back, and I kind of feel like if I don't get him back, I might as well just go for a Walcott or someone just to kind of try and cover him, but that doesn't always work out. Doesn't always work out too well. I mean, he is pretty essential for the double game weeks. But the thing is, if you're bringing in other big hitters around the 11 mark, he's only a 4-point hit away from getting back anyway, even without a wild card. So, I'm tempted to get rid for a few weeks and consider bringing him back. You've got Kane for that Bournemouth game. You've got Lukaku for Burnley. You don't want to get rid of. Aguero is in great form, and Sanchez is rubbish at the moment. So, when the fixtures come round, get him in. But until then, I'm tempted to go that.
The thing is, I don't know if Sanchez is rubbish. I just think that Arsenal got no confidence. Sanchez is playing for himself. When he's on the ball, he still looks like he can do something, but he's not on the ball often enough. That's the trouble, and that's part of the issue. Don't understand why Wenger can't see it.
And he's getting the ball quite a lot in the final third. I saw someone posting stats earlier that he was the top midfielder for receiving the ball in the final third.
Yeah.
But when I was watching that Palace game and the game before, I can't remember who it was, he's getting that ball and he's pinned out on the wing. So he's got a lot to do then to get anywhere near goal. So I don't know how many shots he had on target he had yesterday. From what I remember,
4 shots. Four shots in the box.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's almost like I've never seen him play so wide. I've never seen him play in this kind of
right
position.
on the touchline.
Yeah, he is being told to play as an out-and-out winger. Hug the touchline. Do not move from that touchline. He is coming inside when he can, but his default position, more than I've ever seen before, is that of a winger. And what has caused that? It can only be Wenger telling him to play like that. Why would he ask him to do that? No idea. Very odd.
The other thing is, like, talking about Arsenal in general, I watched the game yesterday. Ozil's having to come right back into centre midfield because Xhaka and
he's playing so deep.
Xhaka, I think, is like a good passer, playmaker, but I don't know. He doesn't seem to be able to pass the ball very well to me. Walcott was captain. Like, that's just such a mere captain. He's not leading. He's not leading by influence. He's not leading by shouting at the other players. He's just there for nothing really. So a Welbeck up front is just, he's there for pace, it seems to me, like what Sanchez can do. But what they need is, if they're going to play Sanchez on the left, they need Giroud there to hold the ball up.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think there's more chance of Giroud coming back than Sanchez going back.
Maybe. I think Giroud could play at Middlesbrough, maybe. But I just think that there's something going on. I think there's a policy, and there's some reason why Wenger's asking Sanchez to play as a winger. What it could be, I don't know. Because Sanchez must be saying to Wenger, put me back up front. He must be. Because the team are not winning, they're losing, and he's only got a goal and assist in 5 matches. Clearly, it's obvious to both parties what needs to happen. But why won't it happen? I've no idea.
I haven't seen him smile in months.
Who's that? Wenger?
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Sanchez.
Well, I mean, any of them, but particularly
Right.
Sanchez. I've never seen a player look so frustrated in a team. Just even when he gets the ball and he loses it, and he's like smacking the ground and just like tearing turf. It looks like he's going to Hulk out.
He was like that with Chile as well, wasn't he? He's just an angry man at the moment.
I mean, I've noticed something to give us potentially hope, though. And one is that he's playing my old favourites, Middlesbrough, which is great. So for me, I've already got Kane in, so I don't need to get rid of Sanchez this week. Sanchez is on a final warning for me, though. This is his chance to impress. Because
you had him in the office and you had a chance.
I've had him in the office. I've had him round, and he keeps like muttering stuff about his dogs and going on about Instagram. But something I have noticed is that in the Palace game, he was actually second to Benteke in terms of goal attempts, and all 4 of them were in the box.
Yeah, no, I saw.
So what he's doing is he's been told, "Oh, you stay out on the wing." So he's going, "Oh yes, I will stay out on the wing," and he was doing that for a lot of the Palace games. But every now and again, he was looking over his shoulder, he's thinking, and then Wenger was like doing his big coat up or something. And then Sanchez was going, "Ha! Here's my chance!" And then he quickly nipped in, elbowed Welbeck out of the way, and then got in and got the shot. And he actually got just 1 on target. 2 of them were blocked. But basically, he was putting in good underlying stats there. So he's basically a frustrated striker now.
He was rubbish.
But if you watch the game,
that's where he
never looked like.
No. But what I'm saying is, and seeing the highlights and seeing those stats is that is promising, because what was happening in the previous matches is that he was just staying. He was just doing, I don't know, playing keepy uppy with Monreal and having a chat with him out on the wing, and he wasn't coming anywhere near. But he's sneaking in there. Now we know he is capable of getting shots on target and getting further in nearer to goal. So for me, Middlesbrough's final chance for him. He's really got to put in quite a shit, because I need to get Ibrahimovic in for Gameweek 34. I'm not going to be getting rid of Lukaku. I'm not going to get rid of Kane. I'm not going to get rid of Dele Alli. I basically haven't got any money anywhere else.
Okay, so let's go back to this, because Lukaku has got in 34 West Ham away, then Chelsea in 35. Why would we not get rid?
I was thinking about getting rid, but it's risky, I think, because he's not scoring many away from home. So you hope that will keep up. But West Ham are pretty bad. But Chelsea at home, that's probably not a great fixture for him.
Well, I can go with just my experience. I mean, I've had a bad season, but my few successes have been making a judgment on the big players, getting rid of them, and because it's spreading that money. And if they're not fulfilling their value. So I had a while ago I moved Hazard out for Sigurdsson. That was back when Sigurdsson was scoring well, and Sigurdsson was outscoring Hazard for that cost, and I spread that money elsewhere. And one of the reasons I got Vardy in was, even though it sounded a lot, 9 million, he was 3 million cheaper than Aguero, putting in those, getting very similar scores. Meanwhile, I could get that 3 million to get Ali in. So this is what I'm looking at with Sanchez. It's not a question of like getting rid of him. So I'd be looking at getting Sanchez and Carroll out for Ibrahimovic double game week, Ibrahimovic that is, and Zaha double game week. So that's what I'd be looking at. So I'm betting that week that those 2 I get in are going to outscore Sanchez. But
equally, I'm looking at doing Sigurdsson out for Zaha, Lukaku out for Ibrahimovic, and they will probably outscore Lukaku and Sigurdsson. That it means keeping Sanchez, because
that's the move to make.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the problem in Lukaku.
You've got 3 million extra in the bank.
No, I can do it, because Aguero to Kane will get me $1.5 million. Sigurdsson to Zaha will get me 2 million. Lukaku to Ibrahimovic, easy. So
I can do the same.
So why would I get rid of Sanchez? I don't need to. But the issue is,
I do need to get rid of him. I haven't got any that spare money.
No, okay, but everyone's saying it's Sanchez versus Lukaku. It is Sanchez versus Lukaku, but only for 2 game weeks. And over those 2 game weeks,
I'm not proposing not having Sanchez, because, like Andy's saying, if you've got the wild cards, you've got the luxury of making the move. If I want to get rid of Sanchez, I'm going to get rid of him. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to get rid of him. But I'll get him back in if I want to get him back in for his double game week, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm itching to use a wild card. I'm holding off for these double game week announcements. And I'm like, I really want to use. I've got all these blooming West Brom players like stinking up the place.
Problem
but
is,
yeah,
problem
just
is,
having to
Mark,
wait.
can we sell Aguero at the moment? Well, it's 5 and 6 he's got. I can't sell him.
I mean, I
he's got
sold him for.
Southampton and he's got Man United.
I sold
Yeah,
him
so
for Vardy,
So we could do it next week, but
but Aguero hasn't had any double-digit hauls since
No.
game 14. He's in worse than Ibrahimovic.
it's ticking
Yeah, but
over, though.
for me, Aguero to Kane, that's straightforward.
This week.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
because I think Aguero at Southampton versus Kane versus Bournemouth, that's fine. So I do that, and then it's 34 is the problem. What do? Do I go without Ibrahimovic, or do I do Lukaku out for a couple of weeks? I probably will do Lukaku.
See, I think he's going to score big against Southampton.
What, Aguero?
Yeah, I think you're wrong about that. I think he's going to score. I think he's going to score a couple.
He's due. He's overdue. He's overdue a massive score. Definitely.
I think it's the wrong week to take him out. I
watched the City game. I don't know. There's something going on there as well with Aguero. He still doesn't look right to me. I don't know. He's getting goals, but I don't know. He looks like he's playing very similar to Sanchez, like he's playing for himself a bit as well. It's not all bed of roses down.
But
at
he's
City
scoring.
Either. Yeah, he's scoring. Of course he is. You know, if Sanchez was playing centre forward, I think he would be scoring as well. But I just think the vibe there isn't quite right either. I think the only camp that's happy at the moment is Spurs, and lo and behold, they're getting all the points. So I think Kane's an essential. Lukaku's doing it at home, and there's issues there maybe with Everton as well. It's an end of the season which is littered with a lot of problems that we can't read. They don't show up in statistics. There's stuff going on behind the scenes at these clubs at the end of the season where players are looking for moves in the summer, and there's unrest. There must be unrest in that Arsenal camp. That must be the reason behind it. There must be a divide somewhere with Ozil and Sanchez, perhaps. Who knows? But something's going on. And we can't see that in stats. We can't even see it really on the pitch. We can only really speculate. But something's wrong. And it's affecting the output of these players. And that means we're driven towards sure bets. And I guess that Ibrahimovic is a sure bet at the moment, because he just does what he does, which is carry Man United. Didn't he, on Sunday? So it's dangerous to go without him, even though in the Burnley and Man City games, what's he going to get? 1 goal, 1 assist, maybe? He's not going to go mad, is he, in those 2 games? But even so many people have him and captain him. You kind of got to go with it. Difficult. We didn't need this. We didn't need these problems. What are you doing? So you're selling then, Joe Sanchez. He's out for you.
Well, I don't know yet. I mean, I've got to see what he does at Middlesbrough. I want to see if he stays on the left wing. Can he score a hatful, or if he's going to be moved to a central striker? Well, then he has to stay, and I have to look at things. Maybe I'll wildcard early. I don't know. I mean, you can pretty much know what the double game weeks are. You know the teams that are left to play. You just focus in on good players from teams. I mean, because the form book of this season is really, I mean, we've seen this week, it's really going out the window. So just get some good players. So I know I'd want some Southampton players. I mean, I did a kind of a mock wildcard today, actually. I posted it up on Twitter. And got quite a lot of people thinking along the same lines, really. They're looking at these kind of cheap Southampton defenders, Yoshida, Stevens, looking at the likes of Zaha, Ward-Prowse as a fifth midfield. You've got lots of bargains there, and that enables you to get the heavy hitters that you want for the double game weeks without committing big surgery. But it all really hinges on Sanchez. He's so much money. And it's not like Hazard or Ali, or I mean, even that 1 million difference. It's just for a lot of people like me with team value as it is. It's such a troublesome price, and it's the same with Aguero. I just don't think Aguero. I think Aguero is great. I mean, I've just got this. Look at the stats. Look at his performances. Look at the goals he's got. 4 goals in 4.
5 and 6, I think.
5 and 6. So he's top of the goal attempts. He's top of shots inside the box. All of those things. He's doing everything right. So I've got no problem with him. I just don't think he's 12.7 worth or 12.8, whatever he is now, of good compared to Lukaku or Hazard even.
The other thing we haven't mentioned Aguero is Jesus is coming back as well. So if you get Aguero, if you're holding Aguero, you can hold him for probably 2 or 3 more games.
He's got 1 more week, isn't he? I think personally he's got 1 more week, and then he needs to go for Ibra if you haven't got him, or Kane or Lukaku. They're the three you need. You would keep Aguero for Southampton, but then get rid for 34. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, let's talk about Harry Kane, because for me this is there's no convincing. For me it's you've got to get him in. It's job done. But there's a lot of questions on this. Yeah, Mike asks, who to drop for Kane. So he's just straight in. Right, Kane's essential. Let's get him in. Who are you going to drop? But do we need to rush into it? And
Hernan Red, with lots of people scrambling for Kane. Which Spurs assets do we drop? So there's a lot like yourself who had 3 Spurs assets. So you've got to make room. Who goes? They're all so good at the moment. So it is tricky. So you think it's Son, and he ends up getting 19 points. Next week, some people might be ditching Eriksen. Maybe he'll get 15 points. And FPL Virgin asks, can Lukaku be transferred out for the 3 away games after Burnley? So what he's looking at is, if you want Kane, okay, Lukaku's got Burnley next, but then he's got West Ham away, Chelsea at home, and then he's got another away game, Swansea. Then he's got Watford at home, that's a good one, and then Arsenal away. So he's looking ahead thinking, is Lukaku dispensable for Kane? Is Kane that good? Is he Lukaku good? So I just wanted to say, just before everyone answers, there's one of our community members, Alex MJ, has been carrying out some research. This relates to the other Spurs players. So this goes back to the thing of, can I cover Kane? So this, you haven't got Kane, and I see this a lot. I don't need Kane. I've got Dele Alli. I've got Christian Eriksen. I've got Ben Davies. And, so I don't need, they're just saying, I don't need these. I don't need Kane. I've got all these boys. So Alex MJ carried out some research in home games where Kane has scored 2 goals or more. So Kane is averaging 7.25 a game points. That's huge. Ali is next in line, 6.93. So maybe you can. And then Eriksen, 6.87. Son, 6.86. And then the defenders, the fullbacks do well as well. 5.79 for Walker. Davis, 5. So basically, even though his conclusion is that Kane is the absolute top, you can't fully cover Kane's points. But if you've got Ali and Eriksen and a defender, you can get somewhere near it. So it's not panic stations, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue there is, though, that no one's going to, it's the captaincy, isn't it? In that you're up against Kane captainers. So on Saturday, there'll be people who buy Kane in for the Bournemouth game and will captain him. So you're not going to do that with Ali and Eriksen. You might have done it against Watford, but you're probably not going to do it, when you've got the option of Lukaku. So if Lukaku doesn't come in and Kane does, and you haven't got Kane, that's going to hurt. So it's just covering that eventuality. And just before he got injured, he was just like a machine, wasn't he? He was just in that run. Just looked untouchable in terms of the heavy hitters up front. Then he got the injury and it interrupted our plans. I mean, I think it is a bit hasty. And the reason why I'm going straight to him is because I've made the mistake of selling Son and clearing the way to get Kane. So I've got to do it now. I've got to make the most of the advantage I've got, which is I can do it without taking a hit. And so I have to do it, really, and hope that Kane comes off for me. I think he'll do all right. I think he'll get goals against Bournemouth, 1 or 2 maybe. So I'm happy doing it. But there is talk that perhaps you can just keep Son, Eriksen, Ali, or your Spurs defender and hold off. But you're taking a risk on the captaincy because people like me will probably captain Kane once they get him. So that's the risk.
I think this week, though, with Lukaku at home to Burnley, I don't think that is a big risk. And in fact, I think it could very well turn out that Kane captainers actually lose out. And they'll be kicking themselves come 5 o'clock on Saturday that they didn't captain Lukaku. I think this is quite a good week. I mean, it's a good week to get Kane. It's also a good week to not get him if you've already got Ali, Eriksen and Lukaku. You've got your captain sorted, your popular captain, and you've got your two lads who are going to be getting those points if Kane's scoring.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I just think at this stage in the season, for those who are trying to catch up, or in my situation, if I'm going to hit top 100, I've got to do something different. I can't. I'm in that position now that you've been in before, where you just like go up and down a few 100 places every week, and then you go nowhere. So unless I just and getting Kane in early and captaining him is going to give me a differential over those above me. Whereas if I captain Lukaku with Ali and Eriksen in my midfield, I'll probably go up 20, 30 places. I'm not going to push on, am I?
I was asked on Twitter earlier if Kane or Lukaku would be a good triple captain option this week for people who've still got the chip. And the more I think about it, the more I think actually it probably is a good option, because your options are an out-of-form Sanchez, an Ibra with rubbish fixtures, the Kane has got a double coming up, hasn't he? So
he'll have a double in 37.
Yeah, so I guess you've got that. But I mean, at home to Bournemouth or at home to Burnley, this for a single fixture,
you haven't got that. If you've got bench boost, you haven't got that triple captain in 37.
Oh yeah, of course.
So your opportunities are Ibra in 34,
Ibra,
Sanchez in either 35 or 36, wherever it drops. That's it. Or
I'd be tempted, if I still had the chip, I'd be very tempted this week to get in Kane and triple captain him. I would.
Andy, your views on Kane this week?
Yeah, I went without him for, part of the whole Burnley at home, didn't do anything, I got rid of him. Then he absolutely killed me then because I never got him back. So as soon as I saw that he was back, it's Bournemouth at home. I kind of want to get him in, but I'm in the tricky situation where I've got Ibra and Lukaku up front. And so which one of those two do I get rid to bring him in? Or, like we were just talking about, I have to get rid of Sanchez, and I don't know if I'm ready to do that. So I'm actually looking at potentially getting rid of Ibra for Kane. I've got 2 free transfers, so getting rid of Ibra for Kane, and the week after, getting rid of Lukaku for Ibra. Yeah. So I will go about Lukaku, but I'm not ready to do it before Burnley at home.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I just think, like you said earlier, all the other teams at the top, there's something going on maybe, but Spurs just let them up. No matter whether Kane's in the team or he's not, they're scoring goals. He will come back in. He will score the goals. He'll have penalties back off Ali, obviously. And I just think he's going to do well this week. I agree with Az. There's definitely merit to thinking about triple captaining this week if you've still got the chip. Now, there's obviously a chance that he doesn't play the full 90 minutes. He's just coming back from injury. But Bournemouth have a good knack of shipping goals. So, yeah, I always think Kane's a must this week. Even if I've got Son and Ali, and I still want him in. I want 3 attackers. I really do think he's that good.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think
he's the number one striker these days for FPL. Like, he's ahead of Aguero now, I'd say.
Yeah, he is.
And he's more explosive than the rest. So
yeah,
I want him back in my team, to be honest.
Yeah, and he's on penalties, and we don't know Lukaku is. And also, I think he'll be chasing Lukaku. He's 4 behind in the Golden Boot. He won't have given up that.
This is something a tactic that I've adopted in previous years is who's going for the Golden Boot, get them in, because it really matters. And I remember that season with Drogba, and he suddenly took penalties, then took them off Lampard to get that Golden Boot, and he
got a hat-trick, didn't he? Right at the end.
Right at the end, last game, and so he was going crazy for those last few games because it really does matter to them. But I just wanted to make a point about Kane being rested, or rather, reduced minutes. But the last time he was out for a long time, when he came back, his first match was 72 minutes, and then it was 90. So he's already had 30 minutes. He looked good for that 30 minutes. Yeah, it's possible. I think 80 minimum, really.
He won't. I'll tell you why he won't get rested, because he needs all the matches time he can get, because he's got Chelsea in the semi-final next. So I think they'll play him the whole 90.
I think they will, and I think they'll say Bournemouth are great. I mean, it just screams goal pie, that match. It really does. Same with the Lukaku against Burnley. They're both fantastic options.
They are.
I can't believe anyone's going in without one of them. But if they are, well, good luck to them.
It will split the community. I just think Lukaku will have the swell of the captains. He'll have the majority, I think, because of the ownership. He's obviously the top owned asset in the game. Kane's not anywhere near that. So it is a differential. I've got to go for it, I think. I've got to go for Kane captain, because I think there'll be a lot of people who want Kane who don't want to take the hit, or maybe I'm going to get Kane later. So I'll steer a march on them. And I just got to hope it comes in and Lukaku only gets 1 or blanks somehow.
For my mini league, which is my strategy at the moment, exactly the same reason. Kane, no one else owns him. Some will get him in, some may captain him, but it's going to be nowhere near those that get Lukaku the captain. But I've got Lukaku, and he's owned by 45%. So he said, I'm not going to be gaining any ground. Kane, I might lose ground, but it gives me hope. Lukaku's just going with the flow, isn't it?
So, Andy, going back to what Spurs assets, I mean, I personally think you've got to have 3 attackers and you get rid of your Spurs defender. Do you go with that?
Probably, especially if you're playing 3-5-2, it's so easy to fit in an Ali and Eriksen. They're still not completely in the Sanchez or Hazard price range. So I've got Son, Ali, and I'll probably bring Kane in this week one way or another. Obviously, long-term, Son probably has to go, but I think I'm okay to keep him this week. I think even if he doesn't start, it's Bournemouth at home, so I think that's good. But yeah, probably 3 attackers for me, although right now, I need a new defender, and I'm struggling. I think we're going to come on to defenders later. I'm actually struggling to get one that I want for the next few weeks. And Ben Davies does kind of hit, all the right notes, as it were. He's cheap. He's playing on a great team that's going to keep clean sheets. So can he cover one of Ali Eriksen? Maybe. But I think 3 attackers looks pretty strong right now.
Yeah, I'm still a bit worried about Rose, because the way that Kane came back quicker than expected, I wonder if Pochettino's got a Rose come back up his sleeve as well for the Chelsea game. Just never know. I think he's quite cards close to the chest with injuries, Pochettino. My suspicion is that Kane was training for a couple more weeks before he came back, and they just kept that under wraps. So I wonder what's happening with Rose as well. And the thing is with Son, I think this is one of the reasons I got rid is because in the three-man defence, Son doesn't play because Wanyama and Dembele will play in the centre. Eriksen and Ali behind Kane, and the wing-backs will play wide. So there's no place for Son when they play three at the back. When do they play three at the back? I don't know, but they're probably going to try it against Chelsea in the FA Cup, I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
That's kind of the beauty of, because that was one of the reasons, because as soon as I saw the Kane news last week, I thought, well, some might not play, but it's worth the risk. And I'm kind of in the same boat this week. I think there's enough potential reward to keep it. It's actually, I feel like I'm in quite a good spot because no one can bring Son in because you're potentially bringing him for 1 week and then he's going to stop playing again once Wanyama's back. Whereas for me, I've got him. I can hold him without any real risk. And even if he comes on, he's got the potential to score. So I'm really happy to own him. But I agree, you can't really be bringing him in this year. People are very positive that he's going to play. I'm not. I know
he'll play at Bournemouth, and he'll probably get Bournemouth and Palace, I think. But
yeah. I suppose there's probably no need to play 3 at the back or 5 at the back.
Yeah, it depends.
2 strikers though.
If they play 3 at the back against Chelsea in the semi and they storm it, then that is going to be default for the rest of the season. He'll rest and rotate for the Palace game midweek, I'd expect. It'll be then from that point on. It'll be the last 4 game weeks that Son might get in and out of the team. I mean, Son's not going to play every single game from now to the end of the season. That doesn't look likely, does it? So, whereas Kane, Eriksen, Ali, 90% probably will. That's the risk you're taking. So, do you want a risky Spurs asset? For me, having 3 Spurs players in your team scoring points is pretty much essential at the moment. They're the only team that I trust right now. Talking of teams we trust, Palace. Do we trust Big Sam? Many don't. Jonty.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's starting to look like he's weaving his special Big Sam magic all over them. So Sporting asked, are Palace the real deal? Or did Arsenal make them look good? And BS10 asks, has Zaha introduced himself as the Maverick captain for double game in 34? I like this. That's a nice idea. Chaz13, are Palace the only bankables for starters in 34? And he's looking at what we've spoken about before, that Manchester United rotation, which we've already seen in full flow. And then, of course, we've actually seen some rotation with Middlesbrough as well. And then later on, you've got Gabbiadini as well for Southampton. So he's looking ahead, really, to other double game weeks. But just getting that theme there. And then Philman asks, is Townsend actually a good cheeky punt alternative to Zaha? Or, as I'm considering, perhaps doubling up. I think they're both good.
Let's talk about Zaha. He slipped for both of those passes, didn't he? But we'll give him to him.
Well, it just shows how good he is. He could even put a killer pass in while falling over.
Yeah, he's a funny player. I love him. I think he's a fantastic player. He's so unpredictable. But that is exactly it. You don't know what you're going to get from him. He's not captain material, is he, for Game Week 34? He is effectively the only midfielder, though, other than Townsend, I guess, that you would look at for 34, because Borough don't have anyone, and United don't have anyone really that you could trust. So I can see. I mean, everyone's going to be getting in for 34. Surely, everyone on FFS is going to be getting Zaha in, and Sigurdsson makes it easy. A lot of the, for me, Sigurdsson and Zaha straight away for 34. Beyond that, I'm not so sure. What do we think about Benteke? John, to your views on him? He's been in your team this season.
Well,
he's more shots in the box than any other player.
He's a stat monster. I was about to say something even more offensive there, but I reined it in. He puts in all his good stats. You remember when Ibrahimovic had his big dry spell, and he was a monster with the stats. You couldn't believe it. And same with Benteke at the moment. Yeah, I mean, this is just an example in that last match. He's put most goal attempts. Of course, he had most goal attempts. Did he have most goals? Of course, he didn't. He's also terrible at home as well. He can barely score at home. Similarly, Zaha, that was quite an unusual little points haul at home for Zaha. So he can do it home away. Benteke he just can't. But away from home, and it's during that double game week, it's Liverpool away, and that's the one I think we'll be looking at for Palace points there, because Liverpool are leaky against pacey sides, counter-attacking sides like that. Their defence is a bit. I mean, the team Liverpool put out against Stoke, the original team, was a bunch of kids, really, a bunch of children. And then, Benteke, I'm getting nowhere near him. Because I've already owned him. Anyone who's owned him this season will never go near him again. He's dead to me. But if you've never owned him, you've never experienced the pain of Benteke, then go ahead, get him.
put this on record now. He has got a 20-point haul coming this season. He will deliver once. He's got to, because you look at I looked at the match on Monday night. He had chances. 2 or 3 of those could have gone in, and he's doing that regularly.
Could have, should have, would have.
Sooner or later,
there's no points for could have, should have, would have.
Yeah, he's going to get one. He's going to get one, and it's going to. Anyone who's kept him for weeks upon weeks is going to just look like a hero, look like a genius. And we're not going to hit it, of course. We're never going to have him in our team when it arrives. But I just think, I remember him with Villa. He had a very good run at the end of the season against really tough opponents. No one could stop him. And I was impressed on Monday night. He didn't score, but he looked a real handful, and he should have scored. But he should have scored in a lot of matches this season. I just think it's coming. He's going to have one haul. But no one's going to be brave enough to go there, particularly those who have owned him before. Andy, is it all about Zaha and nothing else with Palace?
And I agree with you. I saw the game on Monday as well. And he calls Mustafi all sorts of problems. You don't want to base everything on just that one Arsenal game. He did look
Mustafi,
good.
No.
Yeah, exactly. But I think there's, like, for me, it's a no-go. Because I'm playing 2 up front. I've got 2 big hitters, so I'm not going to have Benteke. But there's people with, like, Llorente stinking up their team. Andy Carroll, always got fitness concerns. And so Benteke's a bit of an easier, guy to bring in. It's only an extra £500,000 to bring him in. So I think for those people that have got that, playing 3-4-3, I think it's an option. For those of us playing 3-5-2, probably looking at Zaha. I'll be disappointed if you don't go for Townsend. So you either need
I love him, yeah.
Yeah, so you need to go Townsend over Zaha. I'll be disappointed if you don't.
He's on crutches, though, so that doesn't bode well, does it? Normally, player on crutches doesn't normally do pretty.
But yeah, if he's fit, with Johnny. I actually looked at potentially bringing both of them in, but that means I have to drop King potentially, so I probably won't. But yeah, Zaha for me, he was right at the pitch, almost as much as Benteke, a bit wider, but yeah, he'd be the one for me. I'll definitely bring him in for sure. I don't know about captain.
What are you doing with Palace?
I hate Benteke. I'm exactly the same as Jonty. I just so done with him this season.
He's not from Middlesbrough, Jonty. I don't know why.
We hate Palace as well. I just think there's too many good strikers in form, and there's midfielders falling out of form. Like Sigurdsson's an easy swap down to Zaha, and you could even get him in as a cheap fifth midfielder and just play him for that double. I actually think the Leicester game is probably going to be more profitable for them than the double. They've got Leicester at home, and then they've got Liverpool and Spurs. And if you're going to be bringing in a Palace player, it makes sense to do it this week for that Leicester game, because Zaha or Benteke could do really well in that. But yeah, I'm probably just going to get Zaha, and yeah, I can't go back to Benteke.
Do you know who I want if he's fit this week? Van Arnold.
Yeah, I knew he'd come there.
Because I need a defender. I need a defender replacement. I've still got Brunt and Funes Mori, and he's cheap. And what I like is what Az just said. He's got Leicester and Burnley at home either side of the double. So yes, the double isn't great, but if I can just play him because it's a double and then have 2 good fixtures either side of them,
there's nothing in this theory that since Van Aanholt's not been playing, they've kept clean sheets.
Well, yeah,
you don't think that's?
I don't know. I think Saka is the rock that's keeping the clean sheets. But Schlupp did play well again. Like I said, I watched the last game. He did play well. So it's whether or not he can straight back in. But Big Sam is a huge fan of Van Aanholt. He made a point of saying that he also brings goals as well as being a defender. So if he's said to be fit, he's the one I'm looking at from Palace.
Is there any indication that he's going to be fit? Has there been anything?
No, not yet. No, I mean, it's quite a nasty injury. I mean, he's probably likely to come back in the next 2 weeks. I don't think he'll make Leicester. We'll see. I mean, he's an interesting one because he does give us the goal threat as well. Definitely, no doubt about it. I don't know. For me, it's Zaha. I'd love to have the guts to go Benteke because I do feel he's got that return in him. We're all going to be, when it arrives, it'll be like a magic moment. The
thing is with Benteke, it's not just mine and Az's experience. It's the fact that he is a striker and there's only three of those slots there. And so you'd have to not have one of Ibrahimovic, Lukaku, Kane, Aguero, list them all out there. So yeah, I mean, if you've got a really terrible team value and there's just no way you can get 3 of those premium strikers there, then Benteke is the one. But yeah, if he was a midfielder, maybe I would go back there. But I don't think you need to because you've got Zaha, who's cheaper. who's the assistant, and so Townsend as well. I mean, it's Townsend really who is doing all the corners, and they're the kind for double game weeks. You need to be looking at those kind of things. Who takes free kicks? Who takes corners?
I thought Benteke could be on penalties.
Oh yeah,
he missed two, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
His confidence is high.
Milojevic.
Yeah. See, I haven't even attempted to try and pronounce him. It wasn't even on my radar as an option. But apparently, according to Sam Allardyce, he's now their main set piece.
Yeah, and he takes free kicks as well.
He takes direct free kicks, and now he's on penalties. So
yeah,
he's
one thing I want to
million.
raise about Townsend, did you notice he's got 3 maximum bonuses in the last 5 game weeks? And he's got 5 maximum bonuses all this season. Zaha's only got 1. And the reason why is because Zaha gives the ball away so often. He's tackled so often. And Townsend doesn't. And Townsend also wins tackles. That's why. So he's far more advantageous in the BPS, is Townsend. Interesting.
That's why I was thinking about getting both, really. I just think for a double game week, because there's no Middlesbrough options in midfield, and really there's no Manchester United options in midfield. So, I'd like to have double game week midfielders, and I'm quite willing to spend points as well. And those two are the only ones I'm looking at all, out of all of those 3 teams.
Yeah, in terms of BPS, Townsend, not quite Jesus Navas, but not far off. He's up there with the elite BPS Jesus Navas. Let's talk about Southampton, shall we? This is cut and dry as well, isn't it? No Gabbiadini. We're all going Yoshida. Job done, isn't it, Jonty?
Well, yeah, I mean, you would think so. I mean, I got rid of Bertrand. I know I missed out on his clean sheet, but I was looking at one reason. One, I wasn't sure he was going to start. But the other one is that Yoshida and Stevens are more than $1 million cheaper, and they're beating him for bonus point returns. They're beating him for all sorts of things across the pitch. So I just thought, when it comes to Southampton's double, Bertrand, yeah, I'm not denying he's a good player, but these other guys are $1 million cheaper. So Mark Harbrow has asked, with decent form and 2 double game weeks, are Southampton the team to invest in? I think there's lots of bargains there. So yes, I think so. President Giggs asks, with Walker open to rotation, Valencia having a tight schedule, Chelsea not keeping clean sheets, what good defensive options are there? And is it worth going cheap at the back again? Those 2 names again, Yoshida and Stevens, they're below 4.5 each.
Andy, you're looking at defenders. You were talking about it earlier. Is it all about Southampton? You're going to double up?
I don't know, not right now, because they've got Man City at home and Chelsea away, so I don't think now is the right time to bring him in, no matter how good they're doing. But yeah, Yoshida, Jonathan's already said it already. He's so cheap that it's kind of easy to get in 2 double game weeks. Kind of helps with bench boosting options as well. That's one reason I looked at Manado, because in game week 37 he's pretty cheap, and they've got a decent fixture as well. So if you don't want to bench boost necessarily all double game week players, he could do well. But yeah, I'm looking at Yoshida just to be boring along with everyone else, I expect. Don't see any reason not to get him. I know Caceres is there, but I don't really know what's going on with him. He's not coming. And if he does, I assume it'll be Stevens that drops out. So yeah, potentially a double on the wild card, because I don't fancy any of their attackers unless Gabbiadini's back. So yeah, Yoshida for me as well.
I don't know what's going on with Gabbiadini. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. It's such a disappointment, because he looked like he was going to be the holy grail for us.
Saviour,
yeah, an explosive striker for 6 million, playing in the Southampton team for double game weeks. Too good to be true, and lo and behold, it was. Is there anything in the Southampton midfield, John T, that tempts you? Tadic, maybe? I mean, we talked about him.
I've got Tadic.
Nice player. You got him already, as?
I got him a few weeks ago. Captained him a few weeks ago, didn't I? It was terrible.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, once again, for double game weeks, you want to be looking at who's on corners, who's on penalties, all of these things. It's what you want. So even if it's a tough game, they could get something. Tadic is your man for that. Yeah, if you've got the money, definitely get him in. For me, I'm looking at someone like Ward-Prowse, really, as a good 5th midfielder that I'd like to play in a double game week. Because with Southampton, they tend to come on. So if they're benched, they will come on somewhere. So you're going to get something for him. And he's a player with lots of promise, and I think he's doing really well this season. So yeah, I think there's a lot of his value, lots of value everywhere. Even Tadic, really. I mean, I think Tadic is probably actually well priced. You get the odd good return from him, but you can also get a bit frustrated. And
we will never forget game week 8, of course. As you're going to hold Tadic then right to the end, of course.
Yeah, I can't say I'm too thrilled.
Don't sound very happy about it.
I know. He's just so frustrating. Like, you follow live commentary, and he's just, Tadic has a shot. Tadic has a shot from outside.
He's
the box.
everywhere.
He's everywhere, but nowhere. It's he's a ridiculous player to have. Relatively exciting. I mean, his assist was nice. That's the first points I've had for him in 3 weeks. He's had 3 really good fixtures, and the fixtures don't look like they're getting much better for him. So I'm a bit worried about him. But yeah, I'm going to hold him till the end. Just because you never know with him. He could deliver some big points.
Yeah, he's got it in him, hasn't he, to have like a goal and a couple of assists in a single match, because he's on spot kicks, of course, and he has plenty of shots, creates so many chances. I think if Gabbiadini was in the team, you would have got more out of him. That's the issue. They just don't have a striker who can convert at the moment. Ward-Prowse is a nice player. He's kind of Ward-Prowse. We do this series before every season, Great Expectations. He's kind of been in that for about 3 seasons. We've been waiting for him to have that season where he just goes, 12, 13 assists, because he's all on set pieces. Free kicks are strong as well. He has got like a 5 goals, 10 assists season in him. Hasn't quite arrived yet, but it's coming, and maybe it'll be next season. He's showing glimpses though, and he could be a decent enabler for double game weeks. I totally agree with that. But for me, it's just Yoshida. I think I think that'll be it for Southampton for me. We'll have to see when the wild card comes round. We end up with some very strange players in our teams at that point. So I'm never going to say never. John T, have you got any? I mean, is there any off the wall targets you're eyeing up?
No. It's those ones we mentioned. Really, for Southampton, I just think they're really good enablers. There's lots of value, and they're getting the points as well. So in my mock-up wildcard, I had Yoshida and Stevens in there. I think it's 4.4, 4.3 is one, and 4.1 is the other. Wow, that frees up so much money as well. And then you get Ward-Prowse in, and you've got these 3 players, and for under 15 million, that's fantastic value, and they're actually getting points as well. Those are the 3 I'm looking at. Up front, I don't know, because Austin's due back. Gabbiadini we don't know about. Shane Long can put in a shift up there as well. You just don't know.
No, there's nothing there.
You don't want uncertainty, but you want certainty. And with Van Dijk out, you've suddenly got certainty that Sheeda's getting a good run of games. Stevens even. The management there at Southampton, they love Stevens. He's come out of nowhere, really. 4 million defender in the game originally, but here he is.
Yeah, and Killer says they must be paying him quite a lot in terms of wages. He's not getting anything inside, so I thought he'd have got a game by now.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know what's going on there.
Just back up and competition, I think, keeping him on his toes, because Stevens can look at him on the touchline. And that's what the message is. As soon as you make a mistake, this card.
It's a lot of money to pay for an ornament, though. I know he's probably a good-looking fella in that, but
many teams do that.
very strange. As far as a chairman, I'd be. You're not playing this fella. Let's do the weekend preview. Now, extra pressure on this, because little did I know that Green Winwell, he who oversees the Fancy Island Race, he's been keeping track of more than just the Fancy Island Race. I was quite shocked to see this. John, did you want to explain what's been going on behind the scenes?
Well, yeah, Green Winwell's been kindly tracking our performances in terms of Fancy Island Race and clean sheets. And so looking at clean sheets first, Andy is the undisputed champion. He gets it right 59.26% of the time, so more than half of his clean sheet picks are absolutely accurate. Now, Luka disabled whenever he comes in as well. He's got a small pool of matches that he's been choosing, but 66%, so 2/3 accuracy there. And Az is doing really well as well. So he hasn't had that same level of matches under his belt as Andy, but 60%, so 6 out of 10 potentially are accurate there. And then Mark only 20% there, but it's been suggested because you often pick last.
Yeah, exactly. So, I didn't know I had to take this. And anyway, anyone who's listened to the Scoutcast before knows not to listen to me anyway. So it's not a big deal.
And then Fancy Island Ritz. Well, thanks to my goals imminent table, I ruled supreme there. But once again, Disabled does very well whenever he comes in. So yeah, half of mine are accurate, and Andy and Az are around about the 4 out of 10 mark, and yourself there just 17%. So that's not
terrible.
There's no excuse for that, really. 17% because you're not picking last. But yeah, so you need to up your game.
More pressure. I will go to Andy first for the clean sheets. The man to listen to when it comes to clean sheets. Gets the first pick, so he's got an easy job on his hands to do this. Go ahead, Andy. Go on.
I really thought you were going to pick first then.
No, it's fine.
I won't take the obvious one. I'm going to back Van Aanholt coming back into the team. Even if he doesn't, I'm going to back Palace anyway, with Saka at the back. So, yeah, I think they keep a clean sheet against Leicester.
Do you think Leicester will be knackered?
Knackered, and I think they retain a lot of people, because this is the game before the second leg, right? So they've rested a lot of people last time. I wonder if it will now be the other half of the players that get rested. So maybe Vardy's due a rest now, and just Slimani and maybe Okazaki will come in. I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to go for Palace there. I think we're doing well defensively.
Okay, as your clean sheet.
I'm going to try and boost my percentage a bit, and
everyone's playing this now,
and go for Spurs because they're at home to Bournemouth, and they probably keep a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Not really much else to say.
This is tough, actually. I'm just looking at what's left. Okay, I can see one, but Jonty's going to have that one. Shall I go next? No, go on, Jonty, you can have it. Go on.
Well, I'm sticking by the rule. Who's playing Middlesbrough? It's Arsenal. Now, I'm going to back them to get a clean sheet there. I think there's a real test for Wenger, this one.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was looking at the scout squad today because we get that to you tomorrow so you can start cracking on that. And I was wondering whether to stick an Arsenal defender in, but I thought, well, Jonty would turn his nose up. But obviously
I've got Bellerin in my scout squad picks.
Yeah, I think that's who
attacking
I've got
returns.
at the moment.
Such is my contempt for Middlesbrough. I think even Arsenal could score against them and keep a clean sheet.
No, it's fair enough. I'll go Everton then at home to Burnley. I think that's got a good chance of getting my my percentage up. Strong at home. Burnley, yeah, they're safe, aren't they? I know they've done well. I mean, they've ground out results. And Sean Dyche, yeah, outside of Conte, probably manager of the year with him and Marco Silva, I would say, up there. If Silva keeps Hull up, Sean Dyche done a fantastic job. So while I rate Burnley and they've done brilliantly, I think Everton will win that. Hopefully low scoring because I'm going to get Captain Kane.
Has any team managed to stay up without winning a single away game? Because that is a ridiculous.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
No, he's just drilled that team perfectly at home, and Tom Heaton obviously helps in it as well. So that's the clean sheets done. Let's go on to Fancy Island Risk then. We'll start off with Andy again. What have you got up your sleevey, Andy?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be increasing my percentage with this pick, but he's back now. I'm going to go for Victor Anichebe. I think he looked okay. Yeah, I think he obviously did well last time before injury for a little while anyway, a very brief period of time. He looked okay against United. They didn't really have much of the ball, to be honest, and obviously they went down to 10 men I think it was just before half-time. So, yeah, they need goals from somewhere, so it's him or the foe, I guess. I'm hoping he'll keep starting. Barini did come on in the second half, so... Yeah, Anichebe, I reckon. I think Anichebe is potentially, if he keeps his spot, is a very good. Again, unless you can afford 15 double game week players, which I think is going to be tough. At 4.3 million, he's got a decent fixture in game week 37. So if you stick to 3-5-2, I think he's a good name there. So he's going to be my pick. Yeah,
Victor's changed my season. He was the reason I've done so well, I think, because I brought him in and he enabled me to get 5 in midfield, and I went early with that. I just wonder. Sunderland is going to be down, aren't they, very soon? So it's just like, what are they going to have left in them? But yeah, I love Vic. Yeah, it's a good pick, that one. As you Fancy Island Risk.
When your talisman is Victor Anichebe, I think you've got problems, haven't you? Well, I'm going to go for a real all or nothing one. He's either going to start and score a couple of goals, or he's not going to play at all. I'll go for Danny Sturridge.
Sorry, is he fit to even?
He came on for a bit. They scored a couple of goals when he was on the pitch. Origi went off, so
I like him as a player. So I mean, the injury concerns of. I mean,
can I have advice?
Yeah, he'd be right up there. He's a heavy hitter striker when he's fit, but he's just never fit anymore, is he? So, yeah, he's a good Fancy Island Risk to have. West Brom conceding goals as well. Old man McCauley being taken off before the hour mark. Clearly can't make it past the hour now. So yeah, I think Liverpool will get goals there. I'll give you that one. Yeah, don't know if you're doing out of that though. Jonty, Fancy Island Risk.
Well, I'm looking at Stoke players. I'm looking at Stoke against Hull.
Well, this won't take long then. So,
Arnautovic, I'm going with. He's on the goals imminent table. He's creeping up there as well. He's just due. I mean, Hull aren't very good away. I think it's good. If I'm allowed Arnautovic, him.
Yeah, no, I think you are allowed Arnautovic. I think that's a decent pick. Always, he's their player, isn't he, really? Berahino hasn't done anything, really, so Arnautovic is the spark. Pretty good. I was going to go Lingard because the stats are good, but you spoiled it for me by mentioning him before we started, and now I feel dirty taking that as a pick. I can't do it.
You should have him. Boost your Fancy Island Risk.
No, I don't want to play it, do I? I'm not playing. I'm taking my ball away. If I'm bottom of the league, I don't want to play this game. Yeah, he's Lingard top for chances created in the last 4, top for shots on goal as well for for United. So he is a good pick. Home to Chelsea, and Chelsea conceded in the last 9, of course. I'm going to go Grosicki for Hull. I think Hull have got fight in them, and he's been their top attacking player with Nias. So I think Grosicki for Hull. I think they're going to get goals at Stoke. They've got to. They're going to win games. And they did all right at City. I watched that game, and I thought Hull played well for quite a long period. It's just once the goal went in, City ground them down a bit. So yeah, I'll go Grosicki. I think he's got more returns in him. And Hull are an unfashionable team. No double game week, of course. So that's mine. Let's do transfers and captains. I will go first, I think. No, I won't. I'll go to Andy straight away. Go on. What are you doing? Captains and transfers.
Yeah, so I've kind of already discussed what I'm thinking about. I've got 2 free transfers this week, but I'm kind of struggling how I want to bring Kane in. So I may juggle my strikers. So I might, because I think the Chelsea United game is going to be tight again. And I did this before. I juggled Lukaku, and then he went and scored against Spurs. So I'm a bit worried about doing this. But yeah, Ibra to Kane, and then the following week Lukaku to Ibra, I think. But that is using up an extra transfer to take out a player with a double game week. So I don't know if I like that, but. And then the other pick is probably going to be a defender. I want Van Arnold, but like you said, I don't know if he's going to be fit. So, I'm actually I've got 2 free transfers, which I haven't had for maybe 15, 20 game weeks, and I'm really struggling how to use them. And then captain, if I bring him in, it'll be Kane. If I don't, I'm tempted to stick with Ali instead of Lukaku. Instead of going Lukaku at home. I know he's done well, but I think Burnley could be tight when they want to be. And
so you're not going to captain Lukaku at home?
I think I'll stick to Ali potentially for Bournemouth at home.
Wow. Okay. That is maverick.
Yeah.
No, go on. That's a brave move. Be a brave move not to go Lukaku if you got him. Az, what are you up to?
Well, I was very disappointed with myself a few weeks ago when I went for Sanchez and Origi over Eriksen and Vardy, because that would have been about 20 points or something, 25 points. And the only reason I didn't do it was because of fear. So I'm determined to play without fear from now on to the end of the season and try and move out of 70k. So I'm going to get rid of Sanchez, get in Zaha, and get in Kane for Origi. So just cancel out that move that I did a few weeks ago because it was the wrong move, I think, to make. And captain Kane be for a 4-point hit. And that lets me keep Aguero. I'll have Kane and Lukaku. So 3 big hitters up front. And hopefully they'll bring in the points.
So you're going to captain Kane over Lukaku?
Yeah, but I don't feel too good about it. But he's a good, at this time when not everyone has him, I think Kane's too good to ignore. But I think Lukaku could outscore him, but it's going to be close.
Yeah, fair enough. Some maverick moves here, John T. Are you going to match that?
Well, no, I mean, I've got Kane in. I got him in for Vardy Sunday night. So felt okay doing that early move for me because obviously Kane's going to be wrapped in a cotton wool now. Vardy was always a kind of a short-term ban, and he did exactly the job. And I was really pleased to have him around. Got me lots of points, and then he's off.
He's got a free holiday in the summer as well.
Got me a free holiday, yeah, down in Ibiza. We have a fun party, and so we got So the fixtures turn, and Champions League. It was clear with the Everton game as well. The Champions League is the main draw there. As soon as it wasn't going well for them, Vardy comes off there. So easy move, and I no hit as well, so I could get Kane in. It was quite a luxury move, being able to do that. And I'm going to captain Kane for the reasons that people have stated. Really, is that where I am in my mini leagues, I feel that Kane is that differential. If I captain Lukaku, it's a risk I'll fall down. But I think if you want to be moving up somewhere, then get Kane. Captain.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm doing just that. I've got to stick to the plan. I've cleared out Ben Davies to get Kane in for no hit, so I'll be doing that. Aguero to Kane. I'm not worried about getting rid of Aguero. I think Kane will outscore him, so I'm happy with that. Where I'll make a second move, it depends. My back 3 is McCauley, Valencia, and Alonso. I'm not worried about Alonso. McCauley not getting an hour at the moment. I hope he'll be okay against Liverpool. Valencia, is he going to play against Chelsea if he plays in Europe? I don't know. So I might have to make a spend 4 points to get an early double game weeker in to cover that, which would be a Palace defender, which would probably be Joel Ward, which is the most unsexy signing in the world, I think. It's like signing Phil Jagielka on the chance that he'll get you back-to-back goals, which would never happen, of course. So Joel Ward might be coming in. I can't believe I'm uttering those words. John, can you discuss it with me?
Well, no, I'm not actually. No, I was just going to say it's. I was tempted to do it here as well because I have similar problems with my defence as well. You know, Johnny Evans is still there. I don't know how.
How is that happening?
I don't know. How is Arsene Wenger still? Arsenal manager? How is Johnny Evans still in my team? But nevertheless, he's still there. So, and I wanted to, but all the ones I want, they've got terrible fixtures. So, looking again at Yoshida, well, he's going up against City. Ben Gibson, as much as my hatred for Barrow, I think Ben Gibson is a great asset and he's good. He's good for clean sheets at home as well. But he's against Arsenal, so you know it's not good. And same with Palace as well. I think it's Van Aanholt is the main draw there. I'm not really interested in the other ones, or Hennessy as their goalkeeper. So I don't know. It's really annoying, isn't it? All the defence I want, they've got terrible fixtures. So I'm just going to throw Johnny Evans in there and see what happens.
This is it. It might be just worth risking on Valencia. I think he'll be all right. I think I'll still get 3 defenders out. So I might just do the Kane move. And Kane's going to be my captain. It's got to be. I've got to do it. I've got to try and push up. You know, if I blow a top 500 finish by trying to chase a top 100 finish, so be it. I've got to try. I don't really want to settle for where I am. So that's what I've got to do. And Lukaku will probably destroy me. But we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't feel good not backing Lukaku, does it, Andy? I mean, it's brave to go Ali though. Hats off to you for there. That'll be a brave move. I mean, were you impressed? I mean, for me, Ali was playing wide in the 3. That's what worries me about that.
Yeah, it would be a risk. I just think there's so many goals potential from that Spurs team, especially against Bournemouth. And I'm just worried that maybe Burnley will be a bit tighter than we're expecting, and maybe keep Everton down to just a goal or 2. And obviously, it could be Lukaku who scores both those goals and goes away with max bonus. But right now I've got on Ali. But to be honest, chances are I just bring Kane on and captain him, and it's all a non-issue. To be honest, I think Kane is by far the better. By far is maybe a bit too much, but much better than Lukaku this week. Captain.
Oof, that's brave talk. We'll play that one.
I mean, Bournemouth are just so much worse defensively than Burnley are.
No, I see it, and it could come off for us. But we'll see. We've got a situation where we're all getting Kane in. We're all going to stick the armband on him, and Lukaku could ruin our game week for us. We could be back here next week with very glum faces indeed. We'll see. We're going to have to do the next Scoutcast, Jonty, on Monday because I believe we've got. Is it midweek next week? No, it's a week after, isn't it? So we'll be all right next week. It's the week after we've got double game weeks in. Hectic football schedule. That'll be a Monday Scoutcast.
Okay.
So prepare yourself for that. Went very well last time, but we'll be back next Tuesday, I'm sure. So thank you for joining us, Andy. Thank you again, and thank you as always, Jonty. It's a good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night from me.
Good night.
Good night all.